Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Cedar Grove Township Public Council meeting of, looking at the one there, September 12th, 2022. Can I have the roll call, please?
Councilwoman Peterson?
Here.
Councilwoman Scabbage?
Here.
Councilman Tanella is absent.
He's on his way. He sent me a message. He'll be a little
Thank
late.
you. Deputy Mayor Zakelli?
Here.
Mayor Masseri?
Here. Flag salute, please. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting was duly provided to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and to the Star Ledger by email and published in its annual schedule of meetings on December 23rd, 2021, filed with the Township Clerk, posted on the Public Bulletin Board in the Municipal Building Lobby in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Item 2A, approval of minutes. To consider approval of minutes of regular meeting of August 15, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scabbage?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli?
Yes.
Mayor Masseri?
Yes. Item 3A, award of bid. To consider resolution awarding bid for loading, transportation, and disposal of leaves. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Scabbage?
Yes.
Excuse me, Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Pardon me.
That's okay.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli?
Yes.
Mayor Masseri?
Yes. Item 4, the meeting is now open to the residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on the agenda. Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Moving on to item 5, reports of township officials, starting with town manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items I want to report on. First, I want to announce the annual Breast Cancer Walk will be on October 20th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Second item is I've prepared temporary construction access easements for the new proposed North End Firehouse, similar to the ones we did earlier this year for the Peckman River improvements. Those will be forwarded. Third item, the flu shot clinic for township employees will be on October 6th. And then I just have 2 matters for executive session. One is concerning contract negotiation. The second concerning a potential litigation issue. Nothing further.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I have one too, go ahead.
You go first.
I was going to ask, the October 20th Breast Cancer Walk, is that the one that we do annually at Panther Park?
Correct.
Okay. And what time does that start?
6 p.m. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you.
October 20th.
So, Mr. Palumbo,
Yes.
so for the access agreements, that's for the North End Firehouse construction, correct?
Correct.
Is there any timeline roughly when that may begin, or if we can, what the next step after the access agreements would be authorized? What's the next
Yeah,
step?
after that is completed and the plans and specs are complete, we're looking to put it possibly out to bid by mid to end of October. Construction wouldn't start until the spring of next year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Township Clerk, do you have a report tonight?
No report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Township Attorney?
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, council reports. We'll start on this side. Councilwoman,
Good evening, Mayor.
good evening.
I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the Cedar Grove Volunteer Fire Department for their tremendous work on orchestrating the Cedar Grove flag installation this year. They had very short notice and really rose to the challenge and got the job done. I'm really proud. I had the opportunity to be on site with them for Summer Friday while they were doing the installation. And I saw firsthand how these guys persevered and solved every problem that they faced to make sure that this memorial went on as planned. It's a really special group of people, which I know we already know that about our volunteer fire department, but I just wanted to make note that I'm so proud of their dedication to honoring the lives lost on September 11th. I know we're probably all going to talk about that, so I know there's a lot of other people to thank and a lot of other people who need to be recognized, so I'll just, in order to not be redundant, I will move on to my next topic. I had the pleasure of attending my first meeting as a liaison to the Environmental Commission, and they're a lot of fun. I left there really inspired by their energy and enthusiasm. I look forward to working with them over the next year to help bring their vision to life. I also let them know, and they were very excited to hear, that the township is in the early stages of planning a community garden that will be located at Morgan's Farm. And I look forward to sharing more information as that project moves forward. And that's it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Peterson?
Good evening, Mayor. To piggyback, of course, on what Councilwoman Skavich said, I also want to thank the fire department for stepping up and doing a tremendous job. And I found the ceremony really moving when Chief Donlin was speaking and giving insight as to, you know, what firefighters go through, what the code was, you know, Mike Tower ringing the bell. It was just really inspirational. I thought it was absolutely amazing, and I too got a chance to go up on Friday and watch a little bit of it when I was in Utah last weekend, and I was being sent photos of my father-in-law helping, and you know, he's been a part of the fire department for many, many, many years, and to see, you know, members of the fire department from young to, you know, our senior members, my father-in-law Lee Peterson, Steve Young, Joe Sarasa, everybody, they were all there and all stepped up. And I just want to thank you for your time and your dedication to this township and for making it a beautiful tribute to the victims of 9/11. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, without repeating everything that the councilwoman said, I wanted to say thank you. I know Mr. Peterson, I told you on yesterday, I wanted to thank you and for all your colleagues for really doing what, you know, bringing the community together on such a special, it's a sad occasion, but it's way, you see everybody come together. It's really special and makes you feel proud to be a Cedar Grove resident. To your point, Councilwoman, when you're seeing, our senior members, like, your father-in-law, and then you have the newest members and everybody in between really coming together, it turned into really a beautiful occasion. And at the same time, it's an educational event for our kids. So thank you to all your colleagues for doing that and for all the other volunteers. Mayor, I just want to ask you indulge me. I just wanted to I have a statement here I wanted to read. As many of you know, like Deputy Mayor Zakelli and Councilwoman Peterson, I was born and raised in Cedar Grove. As a father of 3 teenage daughters, I couldn't think of a better community to raise my family. Other than time away to attend college and law school, I've spent much of my life residing in my hometown. I was first elected to serve on the council in 2004, and since that time, I've been fortunate to have been reelected every time and to have served 5 times as the township's mayor. As my colleagues who I sit here with tonight, along with those who have served previously with me, will tell you, it is a true honor to have the opportunity to serve our community. During my tenure on the council, there have been times when residents disagreed or didn't like a decision that this council made or I supported. Sometimes those disagreements led to criticism or further questioning of our decision. I expected nothing less when I took the oath to serve our community back in 2004 and each subsequent time when I was reelected. However, it is completely unacceptable, and I will not and cannot sit idly by should anyone attempt to dishonor my name or my family. In the past couple of months, there have been several public meetings that I have been unable to attend because of personal conflicts. At some of those meetings, a resident alleged that I am a racist. This allegation is just not true, and it's as simple as that. It's my understanding that the allegation arose from a comment I made several months ago while I was still the mayor, and I was addressing a public meeting and a resident's concern about overdevelopment, and more specifically the Hilltop. At that meeting, I explained how much I was against the overdevelopment of our town when Hilltop was approved, as I still am now, as I strongly believe that it remains the number one issue we continue to face as a council. At that meeting, I also explained to the resident who made the allegation that during the Hilltop negotiations, there was a lot of concern by both the sitting council and the residents about not only the overdevelopment that was being forced upon us, but the affordable housing obligation that was attached to it. I was a sitting councilman on the night the governing body approved the Hilltop development in June 2015. At that meeting, several residents spoke out about their concern about, and I'm paraphrasing, those people who are going to have the opportunity to purchase an affordable housing unit. As a result, our professionals spent the better part of that night educating and explaining to our concerned residents how one qualifies for an affordable housing unit, much like our professionals spent significant time with the governing body prior to that meeting. Like most things in life, people tend to be afraid of the unknown. I believe then, just as I do now, that many of our residents just didn't know anything about affordable housing, and as a result, were afraid of it. Thus, when I made a reference at that public meeting several months ago to those people while discussing the Hilltop development in a June 2015 meeting, when it was approved, I was simply referring to the comments that were made at that meeting by residents who were afraid of the overdevelopment and who I believe were afraid of the unknown. It was nothing more to it. And anyone who alleges anything different is simply trying to take what I said out of context for their own agenda. Let me conclude by stating the obvious. As someone who was born and raised in Cedar Grove, who's raising his own family in town, who has dedicated over 20 years of his life of public service to our community, not once has anyone ever made such an outlandish allegation about me, and I'm certainly not going to permit it now. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for your comments. Deputy Mayor?
I just have two items to report on. One is the pumpkin and apple sale dates from the Historical Society released. It's the first and second Saturday and Sunday of October, which is October 1st and 2nd, 8 and 9. This is a tradition that's been going on in town for many years. As the liaison to the Historical Society, I love this event. It's fall, brings a lot of people together. The farm stand's open. This year there will be a pie judging contest, and yours truly will be one of the judges for that, so I am really looking forward to that. I love pie almost as much as I love ice cream, so that's something I look forward to doing. But on that note, Mr. Palumbo, they were asking if we could have the lower bathrooms opened just for that Saturday and Sunday, so people don't have to use the house bathroom.
Absolutely.
So I think that would make a lot of sense, and, it brings a lot of people together in the community, and it's just a great event overall, so I look forward to attending it. The other item I had was I had a few residents, as I believe the whole council did, reach out regarding some traffic issues on Ridge Road. Mr. Palumbo had the police department look into this, and to put it shortly, there's a lot of moving parts on this. It's a county road, and the traffic concerns, the technical word I believe is warrant. Mr. Palumbo, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a few criteria that need to be met before any type of lighted signal or advanced crossing pattern would be instituted. And again, it is a county road, so it's going to take a little bit more research on our part to develop some type of plan, but we are committed to the safety of our residents and our students ultimately, and if that involves working with the Board of Ed or our police department or even the county to analyze the situation and provide a solution to a problem that we need to see if it exists and research it on our own. I could speak for myself and I think the whole council when I say we're committed to at least looking into this and providing potential solutions. And I will specifically reach out to those residents that have reached out to me with more detail and more information once I'm able to process the report the police department gave to us. That's all I have.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay. I only had the one item to discuss yesterday's ceremony at the school. And thank you for leaving some room for me to expand on what you said, Councilwoman. Of course, we thank the fire department who jumped in at the last minute to get this done. They did a great job. And we thank the students who participated, and, the Board of Ed and everybody in this joint effort to make sure that this ceremony was successful this year. And I believe that it was. It was a very moving ceremony. I felt that the children who were not born, this was taught to them. And as I said in my words that day, you can't learn this from a textbook. And going out and spending a couple of days and reading the names and putting the flags up at the school really puts it together for them. So I was very proud that our township was able to put this together and all the volunteers that helped. Also, to Councilwoman Scavich, who, this year, like all prior years, you have made sure that the media was also on notice, and they came to Cedar Grove. We had Channel 12, Channel 11, I believe CBS Radio. I'm definitely missing a few, but
Yeah, NJ.com was there. There were a few more.
NorthJersey.com was there.
NorthJersey.com.
So, you spent a lot of time organizing and making sure that, that we could put Cedar Grove on the map in a positive way, and our message got out to everybody, so thank you for your time on that. So it was a great event, and that's all I have on that. Let me see if I'm just one last thing. I don't have anything for executive, that's all I have. All right, new business, item 6A. To consider introduction of pending ordinance 22-898, amending and supplementing Chapter 198 of the Township Code regarding requirement for inspection of lead-based paint in residential dwellings. Is there a motion? Yes. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm going to open this item to the public for public comment on this introduction of this pending ordinance. Seeing none, I'm going to close that portion of the meeting. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I move introduction of pending ordinance number 22-898, amending and supplementing Chapter 198 of the Township Code regarding requirement for inspection of lead-based paint in residential dwellings.
Second, Mayor.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Lord. Councilwoman Scavich.
Yes.
Councilman Tanella.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli.
Yes.
Mayor Misery.
Yes. Item 6B, to consider resolution concerning the insertion of an item of special revenue in the amount of $67,254 from the body worn camera grant program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, briefly. A lot of residents always ask if we apply for grants or if we get grants or any type of supplemental funding. This is an example of the township receiving grant money from the state of New Jersey, Department of Law and Public Safety for body-worn cameras. And it's in the amount of $67,254, as the mayor noted. And for municipal budget purposes, this resolution would add it to the revenue side of our budget.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavich.
Yes.
Councilman Tanella.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli.
Yes.
Mayor Misery.
Yes. Item 6C, to consider resolution concerning cancellation of water sewer penalties for 266 Cedar Street. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavich.
Yes.
Councilman Tanella.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli.
Yes.
Mayor Misery.
Yes. Item 6D, to consider resolution concerning cancellation of water sewer penalties for 812 Holly Lane. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavich.
Yes.
Councilman Tanella.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli.
Yes.
Mayor Misery.
Yes. Item 6E, to consider resolution concerning cancellation of water sewer penalties for 702 Holly Lane. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, Mayor.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavich.
Yes.
Councilman Tanella.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli.
Yes.
Mayor Misery.
Yes. Consider resolution concerning refund of overpayment of taxes for 315 Fairview Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavenge?
Yes.
Councilman Tinella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakeli?
Yes.
Mayor Misery?
Yes. Item 6G, to consider resolution concerning refund of overpayment of taxes for 34 Elmwood Road. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavenge?
Yes.
Councilman Tinella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakeli?
Yes.
Mayor Misery?
Yes. Item 6H, to consider resolution concerning award of 25,000 stormwater grant between the property owners of 94 and 100 West Lindsley Road. Is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavenge?
Yes.
Councilman Tinella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakeli?
Yes.
Mayor Misery?
Yes. Item 7, approval of bills.
Be it resolved by the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, New Jersey, that the summary of bills having been duly audited and found to be correct are hereby ordered paid in the aggregate amount of $6,622,105.14.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavenge?
Yes.
Councilman Tinella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakeli?
Yes.
Mayor Misery?
Yes. Item 8. Meeting is now open to the residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on or off the agenda concerning township business. Ms. Hartwick?
Evening, Kate
Good evening.
Harway, Essex County Liaison. How's everybody today? We have a couple of events coming up in the next month, sponsored by the County of Essex. The first is on Saturday, September 24th, is the Fall Family Festival at the Essex County Environmental Center. It's a free event from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's featuring vendors and activities that promote the environment and green initiatives. You can find all of our information on our website, essexcountynj.org. On Saturday, October 1st, from 8:30 to 4 p.m., will be the Household Hazardous Waste Collection event. I noticed it is already up on the Cedar Grove website as well, but the flyers are available for download. And then later that month, on October 15th, will be the Computer and Electronics Recycling from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Both events take place at Fleet Management, which is on Bradford Avenue here in Cedar Grove. And last but not least, this weekend, we have a craft fair happening in Anderson Park here in Montclair. It's both Saturday and Sunday. I believe it runs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and there'll be local crafters and vendors there for anybody who wishes to come.
Thank you, Ms. Hartwick. Thank you. Mr. Krasinski?
Thank you. Michael Kornansky, 32 Old Orchard Court. First, Ms. Ford, you're doing a great job. You know, as we've been saying the last few months, big shoes to fill, but thank you.
Thank you.
Your lightning fast response to my email, really appreciate that, so thank you very much. I'm glad there's progress that's being made on the hiring of a new town manager. I understand there's phone calls going out for like some type of committee for that. Is that true?
Let me say this, I didn't say it because Ms. Hartwick was up there. So all the residents that come up to speak, just put all your comments on the record and then we'll respond to them. So
I mean, that's not how
I'll
it's
take
been-
notes.
It's not how it's been going in the past. You
That's
tell
fine.
me it's
That's
not
how I'm
question
running the
and answer.
meeting. That's how I'm
But then
running the meeting,
you-
sir. I'm permitted to do that. So
Okay,
put all
that's
your
fine.
comments, I'll take notes
And
and I'll
put 'em
respond
out.
to
I'm
them.
putting them out. So
So the first item you wanted to know about was,
was the hiring of the new town manager.
okay,
Go into that process for us if you can. I understand phone calls have been going out to form a committee for that purpose. How can I apply for that committee? All right, I mean, I've made more meetings now than Mr. Tinella, so, you know, I'd love to be considered for that. Let's see, we have, what's the process, or the progress of the blatant conflicts of interest that I brought up before this board? especially concerning Mr. Tonella. Has an investigation been started? Has anything gone into that on 36 Cliffside Drive? Yes, no. Also, Mr. Tonella, I understand your comments. I appreciate that. I wasn't at those meetings early on for the Hilltop development. But, I mean, there are comments, I'm paraphrasing again. I don't know the exact, but people can go to the YouTube. You did at one point say you don't want those people in your neighborhood, I believe. Something to that effect. That might not be your exact quote, but the original comments that you spoke about might have been concerning what people had brought up before you years ago. I find that disgusting, very uncomfortable. So again, for the third month, I call for your resignation. I don't think that you should be here, standing in front of this town and shaping our town. And again, I don't feel, last month you told me it wasn't a question and answer. It wasn't to go back and forth. But then once I sat down, people stood up and you went back and forth with them. So it was just to me that you were treating that way. All right, people have come up to me and said, I don't understand why they're treating you that way. There's no transparency. It's disgusting the way that I'm being treated, truthfully. But I guess I'm gonna have to look into bringing these issues to a higher authority. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear your comments. Thank you.
And you will. As I said before, Mr. Kronansky, I disagree with not only your interpretation of what you just put on the record, but I disagree with your comments tonight. I've disagreed with your comments that you put on the record before. It's apparent that you have an agenda, and that's why you come up. We're not treating you any differently than anybody else. The second resident that spoke at the last meeting after you, I thought he was done. That's why I allowed him to continue. Once I realized he had more, I even said to him to get all of his questions on the record so we could properly respond to them. You know that, you were here, you're sitting in the audience, but you're trying to make an issue of something that's not there. As far as transparency or lack of transparency that you claim, that is the furthest from the truth, and everybody here knows that. We are the most transparent council probably in Essex County. We provide all the information, and we always have. So again, I think you come here with an agenda. I think the public is starting to see that. But again, I'm not going to just constantly bring that. Sir, you had your moment. Please don't talk from the audience, okay?
Excuse me.
Thank you. Let's see what else. As far as hiring a township manager, yes, we're in the process of setting that process together, and as soon as we're able to present it to the public, we will. I believe that covers your 4 points. Anybody else like to be heard? Yes, sir.
Frank Sekulik, 120 Anderson Parkway. At the last council meeting, I made a request that all members, excluding Mr. Tonella, because he wasn't here, that the council take a ride up through the Anderson Parkway development. Did anyone do that? Any of the members do that?
Mayor, if I may. Mr. Sekulik,
Well, let's let him finish. 'Cause
Okay, sorry,
I just
go
want to
ahead,
make
go
sure
ahead.
there isn't any other comments, different comments. Go ahead, do you have any other comments, sir? We'll respond to you. Do you have any other questions or comments?
Well, yes, on the streets, when they do the pre-planning for the next paving, how often is that done? And if, let's say like Anderson Parkway, theoretically, they said 15 years. All right, now basically, I'm around 20 years, and there was no follow-up on when the project was gonna be done. And when I went down to the engineer's office, nobody had any inclination that the Anderson Parkway was gonna be done either next spring or next summer. So there had to be a lack of communication someplace.
Do you have any other comments or questions? We're going to respond to all your comments
Okay,
once you're done.
no, that's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilwoman?
I'm sorry, Mayor. Yeah, Mr. Sekulik, I do. I drive down there all the time. I have a friend that lives on Anderson Parkway, so I'm there often. So I do understand, the conditions of the street there. And that's all. I just wanted to answer your question, so.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And Mr. Palumbo, can you just go over the process again for paving and how the township
Sure, absolutely.
manages that?
At the last meeting, I believe I reported on the point where we did receive a DOT grant to reconstruct Anderson Parkway. And at the last meeting, I stated that the consulting engineers were pretty close to finishing up the plans and the specs. And I did receive confirmation that those have been completed and have been now, what happens is, once they're complete, they go back to New Jersey DOT for approval. And once that process is complete, then we can actually put the plans and specs out for bid. As far as the start date for construction, at this point, depending on when I get those back or an approval from DOT, probably would go out to bid over the winter and would be starting in the spring. That would be a spring 2023 project.
2023?
Yes.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Colonel, can you explain the difference between, I guess, a reconstruction and an overlay?
So overlay, we just completed our 2022 overlay project, which is literally just milling off 2 inches of roadway from curb to curb and putting down an overlay, a surface course. Reconstruction, awarded through DOT, is usually enough funding that we can do curbing, handicap ramps, sidewalk aprons, in addition to roadway reconstruction, improve any drainage on the roadway. So it's a more intense project.
And Anderson
And
Parkway
Anderson
was
is-
for reconstruction?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I can't think of your last name. I can't remember your last name.
I wasn't ready.
Lee Peterson's.
Would you like me to have him sit down?
That's okay. Carrie?
Okay. When you went up Anderson Parkway, what was your,
Well, no, I know, Mr. Sekulik, I know it's in need of repair. I think everybody, we know it needs repair, but there's the process, and like Mr. Palumbo explained, it's a whole reconstruct, and it'll be done, so there's a plan, and it will be done in the spring. So if there wasn't a plan, then I would be concerned, but there's a plan, and we can only, we can do it according to the plan. And I'm sorry that Anderson is the way it is. We have a lot of streets, but we have to just kind of take care of them in the process in which we do, so.
I understand that, but what I can't understand is how the development was supposed to wind up in that type of condition, when I doubt if any other streets in Cedar Grove wound up in that condition.
I don't know the answer to that.
I hope we answered your questions to your satisfaction. I know there's some confusion. I know that this is important to you, but I hope that the information you received answered your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to come up?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Great job. Mike Kornansky, 32 Old Orchard Court. So, you say that you answered my 4 points. I specifically would like to know about the phone calls to the residents to join a committee that's going to appoint the new town manager, and how I could be considered for that committee. I've been very involved in the town this past year, and I would love to be considered for that. Also, is there progress on the conflicts of interest that I brought up? 36 Cliffside Drive. You say that you don't agree with it. You are the mayor of this town. You are, well, you're appointed by the same people that are here on the council with you. Who makes you the judge and jury about what a conflict of interest is? In the past, this town has handled things way differently and properly, may I add. So, if there's conflicts of interest brought up, there's supposed to be an investigation. It's supposed to be looked into. It's not the mayor or the past mayor saying, no, there's no conflict. You now being the mayor saying, no, there's no conflict. Who are you to say there's no conflict? You're part of this board. There should be an outside agency that's looking into this. Honestly, and transparently looking into this. Thank you.
So your first comment was regarding the hiring of our manager, as I stated earlier, in response to your prior comment. As soon as we're able to present that to the public, we will. The process of hiring the new town manager. As far as your conflict of interest allegations, they're allegations. And
Look into them.
sir, you had your opportunity. This is not, you're not going to just shout out from the audience.
Should I just stand?
You're not going to shout out from the audience. You might not like my responses, but you're not going to shout out. You're out of order. You're out of order. Please stop talking. As far as the alleged conflicts of interest, we are well informed on how conflicts of interest are, what they are and how to proceed with them. And this body has done everything that it's supposed to do. So it's not what you claim, and just because you allege something doesn't make it true.
Okay. I'll keep going.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Miga.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Michelle Miga, 41 Essex Road. I'm here as a resident. I just would like to also thank the Cedar Grove Fire Department. Did a wonderful, wonderful job. It's a big undertaking. Without the volunteers in this town would be something very different than what it is. Again, a lifer, okay? But the first responders of this town bring something very special, and they never let things go. And I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I just wanted to say thank you to you guys, to all of them, EMS, everybody. It was a great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miga.
We don't let things go, Michelle. You're right.
Mr. Ranieri?
Good evening. Sal Manieri, 26 Sweetwood. Inspiring weekend, wasn't it? I just wanted to comment on what transpired this weekend. On Saturday, my tiny band of Cedar Grove Flag Tribute Committee members began the flag display for 9/11 throughout the 3-mile Pompton Avenue border of town, from Ridge Road to East Lindsay. As the town has allowed us to do for the past year, our effort has included all of our nation's important and patriotic holidays. I would like to mention that this year, our town took the flag initiative and expanded it to include the entire middle section of town from Bradford Avenue to Myrtle Avenue. I, for one, am grateful for the town's expanded initiative. However, the town's smaller flags contrasted in a big way with our larger display throughout the rest of Pompton Avenue. In an effort to present some uniformity in both our efforts, I offered to adjust the town's display and make it uniform throughout the 3-mile route of Pompton Avenue. Our township official, for whatever reason, was not receptive to the idea and informed me that we should not interfere with their muted flag display in the middle of town. And of course, we complied. It is my hope that our town's elected officials will one day recognize that our expanded and brilliant Main Street display throughout the year was meant to unify the spirit, honor, and patriotism of all our residents and businesses as a whole, and not meant to create disunity with the town's initiative. I hope we can have an open discussion about it in the future, as I've asked previously. In the same vein of unity, myself and my committee would like to give a big shout out to the Cedar Grove High School's 9/11 Wave Memorial Display this past Sunday. Their support was tremendous. Apparently, one of our Board of Ed members seems to have lost interest in sponsoring the tribute and never forget effort of students, and the fire department eagerly filled the void. My hope is that the fire department will be instrumental in relocating the display from the high school to the middle of town, where the majority of our residents can appreciate the effort to a greater degree, and where visitors driving through our community can witness the commitment of this town to honor those who perished on that tragic day. On behalf of myself and my committee members, Jenna Manieri, Danny Rolandelli, Joe Vallone, Joe Fox, Joe Genetempo, and James Garducci, I would like to thank all our Unified Town residents and businesses for supporting our efforts throughout the year.
Thank you, Mr. Meunier. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Let's see. Mr. Palumbo, you had 2 items for, I'm trying to find my notes,
Yes.
for executive?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, authorization to go into executive session. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting of the mayor and the council in certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and the council of the Township of Cedar Grove are of the opinion that such circumstances exist. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the council of the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the public shall be excluded from discussions of any action of the executive session of the meeting of the mayor and the council. The general nature of the subject matters to be discussed are contract negotiation and potential litigation. In anticipation, it is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public as soon thereafter as is deemed in the public interest to do so. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scavenge?
Yes.
Councilman Tinelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zakelli?
Yes.
Mayor Masseri?
Yes. Thank you, everybody.